Hello everyone and welcome to another exciting edition of Comic Cave Podcast. My name is Chris, along with my hetero life mate, Mr.
Russ.
And we have a special guest on the program today, sir. Please introduce yourself.
I am Infinite, aka DJ Nfinite, aka Captain Nobody.
And today we're going to be talking about another dope homie within the music scene. Yeah, I got another friend coming on to do something about it. What up? We're going to be talking about some of your influences within your music, talk about some of the stuff that you got going on, and some other stuff that we have going on coming up.
Now, Russell, let's get right into it. So, DJ Nfinite, you'll be at the spectacular, stupendous event, the event that Russell and so many more are throwing. Me and Russell are throwing, and others as well. Space City Geek Fest.
Hype it up a little bit more than that.
Space City Geek Fest coming out February 23. No. Space City Geek Fest coming out February 18th, 2023. And DJ Nfinite, you'll be there spinning the ones and twos.
So, I want to give everybody like a little bit background. So people don't know, you like my go-to. You are the go-to. I go to him for my DJs whenever I do like hip-hop shows with my flight concerts, my other company and stuff. But you also make all of my graphics, promo material. He does motion flyers. Insanely talented person. And then you also, I kind of want to ask if this is comic related at all, but you have another persona. You have Captain Nobody and then DJ Nfinite. And your name is actually Nobel. You know what I'm saying? You got some like Batman vibes up in there. You know what I'm saying? You got multiple personalities. Let's dive into this. Like, what got you into comics? How do you think that we'll get into that. What got you into comics? What are your like go-tos?
So I got into comics because my mom used to have our friend Marie babysit me, and she was a librarian. So instead of the daycare, I would be in the library just normally.
You got babysat at the library?
Yep, like all the librarians. I wasn't like a troublemaker. I would literally sit down. I'd either be on the computers or I'd be reading books. But like as I got older, I found the graphic novels and comic section and got into it that way. And the library they didn't have, the small comics. They had actual, those big, chunky comics. I think the first one I remember.
So they had like the compendiums and the omnibuses, like the multiple stories in one book.
Yeah. The first one I remember picking up was Fantastic Four.
Okay, that makes sense, because you and I recently saw Wakanda Forever together, and you were like, Namor's my guy.
Yeah.
And I don't know many people that are like, I mean, I'm an oddball too. My favorite villain is Bane, but I haven't really heard too many people be like, Namor. Like, they better knock this one up.
Yeah. I think they did well. I really think the Wakanda movie
this is about to be
played a lot of... I mean,
feel a tangent
they didn't give a lot of attention to... Like, they didn't give... I won't say this. I'll say they didn't give too much attention to Wakanda. They gave enough attention to Namor, and it gave me good hopes, because I feel like they're going to keep him around, especially because the end, but I won't spoil it. But I liked Namor because his petty reasons for picking fights with the Fantastic Four, just because he was in love with Susan Storm, and then like he was literally going to war for that, or like a evil Captain Planet vibe, like stop polluting the ocean. I'm going to
I've never heard somebody put it that way. Evil Captain Planet.
Yeah, he was like evil Captain Planet to me. But then on the other side, he's like, if he needs to help out, he'll do it, but like for his own selfish reasons or whatever. I just think
he's neutral. He's not really a good guy or bad guy. He does whatever benefits him and Atlantis or what do they call it? Kaka-Khan? Anyways, so okay, all right. I want to ask this question because a lot of people. Talakon, is that what it is?
Tell us some shit. Go ahead.
A lot of people. It's been very. I don't want to say splitting. Most people who are not super into comics are like, cool, whatever. They changed Namor to be, was it Mayan? Mayan. And
some sort of diverse character.
Some people are like you, and then you have your anti-woke people that are against all of that, whatever. I mean, what's your take on them slightly changing that character's like origin story, like as somebody who knows the character and it resonates with him?
Well,
Wait, he was already a diverse character. He was Asian, right?
no, he was
Atlantean.
Atlantean.
But he had the Asian look from the old 19... Because he predates...
Because he had them eyebrows that were super high.
I never got that he was Asian though.
Yeah,
It says it all in his eyes.
I was thinking
Racist.
That's not racist. He looks Asian.
I was thinking like in the comics he's from Atlantis or whatever, and I guess the only culture they could take from that would be like Greek, since it's supposed to be mythologically the location supposed to be like
around that area.
around Greece. But you can also I can compare it to how they did Aquaman, where he didn't have to be Samoan, but they didn't go all the way into like his Samoan traits. They just added an actor from that cultural background to represent.
Jason Momoa does a good job, but honestly, he would not have been my pick for Aquaman, and I wouldn't be mad if they recasted him personally.
Oh, dude, he was a great Aquaman.
Yeah,
his brother... What's his brother's name?
Jason Momoa's or Aquaman's brother?
Aquaman and fucking damn it, the damn Sea Master.
Oh.
I forget his name right now, but the guy who they casted to do that.
Yeah, no, he did.
He looked like a fucking Aquaman from the 1950s and 40s because he had
That's
that
true.
blonde hair and the blue eyes and shit, just like Aquaman. But I think
he did good. I would, as every fan cast has him, I would have preferred
Ocean
him
Master,
as
I'm sorry.
Lobo. Yeah, like Jason.
He would have been a great Lobo. Yeah.
Damn,
and he loves Lobo too.
Damn, he looks just like him.
He actually has every single Lobo comic. No bullshit.
Really?
Yeah, he has
that
all of it.
was
He's
a
a big
waste
Lobo
of a
fan.
cast.
Yeah, that I think that's part of like my issue with it is he does a good job. I would prefer have seen him as that.
So you as an old school fan of
But yeah, back to this.
Namor, like, do you?
So yeah, the changes.
Do you
and stuff,
care? Like,
yeah.
or did it matter?
I honestly just didn't want them to fuck up him. You know, I didn't care what the background was on how
so long
they
as
made
he
Atlantis.
acted the way that he's supposed to act.
Yeah, as long as he had the same motives, the same powers. Like, I'm glad they kept his power level where it was, you know. But
It's true.
knowing what like looking at what Disney has been doing since the Black Panther movie came out is attracting people outside of the comic book geeks and people that actually love the stories.
Right.
Like, attracting people outside of that to get ticket sales, to get more fans outside of that. You know, Black Panther was great because they didn't have to change anything. You know, it's a mythical country, but it's in Africa. A lot of African
this is a
traditions.
mythical country, though.
Exactly. Only thing is, in the comics, there was no real culture to tie it to.
Right.
So if they didn't make him Mayan or Latino, then it'll just be like, I think they were creating a cultural tie to bring outside fans into watching the movie. You know, seeing in the commercial he has Mayan features and clothing and everything, just for more representation.
Right.
I don't think there's a lot of Latin superheroes that are big, you know. So if they just threw
the first ones that come to my mind are more in DC, not in Marvel, but like Blue Beetle. That's the first Hispanic character that really comes to my mind. But I know that there's a few others, especially, again, not to always shout out Milestone and stuff, but if you could dive into some of their lore, they have a lot of those characters as well. But I mean, that's true. There's I can't think of many others off top. But Chris, you're Hispanic. You don't give a shit. Like,
but you already like comics, so you would watch the movie for a different reason. You wouldn't watch it because...
Well, I don't think they're representing the comics that I grew up with on the big screen. I mean, that's fine. Like, they take liberties and they change things here and there. But when it becomes like a political statement and just to sell tickets... When you make your movie a political statement just to sell tickets and the story itself sucks, that's when I was like,
that's my issue with some of the race swap, gender swap, and sexuality swapping and stuff. It's not that that's a bad thing. Representation is great, but when you're doing it and you're saying that this is the reason to like this character, as if there's nothing more about that character, that's when it becomes the problem.
And that's what I feel like these MCU movies are doing, where it's like, we'll just change we'll just change the color and we'll change the sexual orientation or whatever. Yeah. And we'll get. You
should like it just because of that, and that's like, and I feel like that's insulting to somebody who is a minority. Personally, I get it. This is like a white man saying this shit, but would you not want, like, there's more to you than being black. Like, there's more to a gay person than being a gay person. Yeah, it's a part of your identity, but it's not your whole identity. Like, you are a comic fan, right? Like, there's more to you. You are Captain Nobody. You are, like, there's more to you than just that. So why should I give a fuck about this one character just because of this one thing? You're putting this character into a box, and there's so much more to him. I want more of a reason to resonate with these characters. That said, I think the change on Namor and making him Mayan honestly worked for the character. I didn't think that was a bad change. I think that, this is me personally, I think that it resonated with him, gave a reason for like the anger and the hate. I think it did more good for the character than it did take away from it. And that's one of very few instances that I think that they did that in a well way. I do think that they did it in a well way.
I will say that the way they changed his origin, I'm fine with, but it's whenever they drive home, he's Mayan, he's a representation, he's Mexican, he's this and that.
Right.
Like, I don't really give a shit about that. Is the story good? Is the character fucking badass? Like,
that's what I'm saying. I think
it wasn't
worked.
focused on him being Mayan. It was still his original reason.
No, I'm talking about the
promotion.
The promotion for this was like
Oh,
super.
yeah,
like
But a lot of shows or movies, when they do promote it, they also do that within the film. I'm saying I think Namor was a step away from that, where they made the change, but they made it work and they made it make sense. Like, it wasn't just done.
Like, do you think?
I think honestly, partly why they did it was because they didn't want, and it's a stupid reason. I don't agree with the reason, but I think that they wanted a separation from Aquaman because that character is so popular within DC.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
So they wanted to create some, like, okay, we're not going to call it Atlantis because then it's just going to be compared to Aquaman, which is arguably DC's probably best-selling property at the moment, film-wise.
Batman.
That last Batman was pretty fire.
That's true.
But
you get what I'm saying.
Getting back on track, so you were
universe.
From a young lad, you read comic books, and the first comic book that you held in your hand was a Fantastic Four omnibus. What was your favorite growing up? Like, who did you gravitate more? Because I know there was a Fantastic Four cartoon. Like, did you watch the Spider-Man, the Batman, the Iron Man cartoon, or any other the Static Shock cartoon? Like, what was?
So this is gonna sound weird, but I didn't even realize Marvel had cartoons like those '90s cartoons until we went to England. And they had a channel. It was like a Disney XD or some shit that I don't think we had at home.
Wait, how old are you?
I'm 29.
XD came out like in the mid 2000s, right?
Yeah.
He was older, is what he's saying. He didn't see it.
Yeah. So I saw like Iron Man. I saw the Hulk cartoon. I did see Spider-Man before like in America. Like, that's the only Spider-Man and X-Men. But I didn't realize that all, like, basically the whole Marvel universe was, like, on TV until that. Right. But X-Men obviously made me fall in love with.
You didn't see the original X-Men animated series?
I did. That's the only two I saw that were, like, while I was in America.
Spider-Man and X-Men?
Yeah. The rest I didn't know. And then when I saw, like, those other characters, that's what introduced me to the rest of the universe as a whole. So then I looked for an Avengers comic.
That is so interesting because not many people, I don't think, like, start off with, especially in current time. I would say Fantastic Four, Namor specifically. That's way more niche. Like the main Marvel properties.
That's like
arguably. I mean,
Blade.
Before MCU, main Marvel properties would be Spider-Man, maybe Avengers, Hulk.
You have Captain America.
I don't think that, like, but people
like
didn't pay attention to it like
Human
that.
Torch
X-Men, Hulk, and Spider-Man were probably the most known properties before MCU.
Right.
And then MCU definitely opened up a lot of stuff. But for somebody before MCU to have gravitated towards Fantastic Four, that's interesting. That's just definitely interesting.
And that was maybe a few years before Jessica Alba was in the Fantastic Four movie, and that definitely just spurred like how much I liked that comic. And then the X-Men cartoon made me go back to the library. So I'm always at the library looking for new comics because they will update them. And
they get some of the new stuff.
I got into the X-Men series. I forgot how I ended up really just fucking with Nightcrawler. But that was like I think it was just the irony of him looking like a demon, but he's like a priest and he's the most moral,
out of all
conscious one. You know,
I would say my personal favorites from the X-Men were Nightcrawler and Gambit. Those were my first two favorites.
Cajun. So what did you think about? I'm gonna harper on Fantastic Four. Like Fantastic. Were you a fan? Did you like it?
Mm-hmm.
The latest adaptation, the one that only had one film, with the young cat, and they had to go to, what was it? Which realm did they go to get their power in that one?
It was a negative zone,
yeah.
But Doom had got trapped in there or whatever.
It's a new adaptation in the comics?
No,
in the movie.
Live action film. The last live action film they did.
Oh, with Michael B. Jordan? No. No, Jesus. I deleted that from my memory.
This boy said, what?
No.
It's funny you said that, because when you said Jessica Alba, I remember back then whenever Michael B. Jordan was the Human Torch, they were like, people were losing their shit over the Black Human Torch.
And that's an example of unnecessary, like, race swapping.
Right.
And then they went in even more deeper to, like, well, when my dad adopted... Because the whole movie, I'm like, how the fuck are they related? And then they just slid it. When we adopted you, blah, blah, blah. And they just kept it moving, like... This was really... That felt forced, and then...
Yeah.
It was just... It was outside of the MCU, and we were already watching Iron Man. We're already looking at the buildup of the Avengers, and then... What was that, Sony or Fox?
That was Fox.
Fox did that one.
But they had everyone was losing their shit over a Black Human Torch, but no one gave a shit when they made a Latina Jessica Alba Invisible Woman, and they gave her blue contacts with
I didn't know
blonde
she
hair.
was Latina.
Yeah, Jessica Alba.
Oh, I thought she was mixed. Well,
to come back onto you a little bit, how have these comics and stuff influenced your artwork and, like, everything that you do? Because, like, your graphics are definitely insane. And even before you started doing graphics for me, like, you did Photoshop edits, even before you got into the DJing and all that stuff. And you did a lot of, like, Avatar style stuff I've seen with, like, rocks floating around somebody. Like, you did cool ass Photoshop stuff. Did the comics, like, play into that? Like, did it inspire some of your ideas? How did all that connect?
So, I was a huge fan of Stan Lee, and for a while I was making my own comics in elementary school.
Really?
I used to draw, Wolverine and the Hulk and, like, all types of superheroes, and I would sell them for 50 cents to my classmates. I'll go color them, make copies. That evolved into me making my own, like, comic book universe, just like Stan Lee did. And I had, like, just big art books that shit at, like, my mom's house of, like, this guy named the Matter Man, and he's like Avatar, but he can turn into any element. And I started a whole story with that.
I like that, the Matter Man.
You should be a part of the Rippaverse.
Right. Matter Man. He has a green.
Oh no, this is already trademarked by the time this comes out. Like
he had a green mask because he was an alien, shades and, like, a top hat, and he wore, like, a trench coat, and then he would just beat ass. There's a whole story to it.
Yeah.
But that evolved. I think I fell out of that phase in high school, got more into music, but when I went back to college, there is a school newspaper, and I was just trying to be a part of something, and I looked at the comic books, like the comic section, and they were, like, using Google strips and shit. And I was like, we don't have any artists that could do this. And I was like, nah, we don't have. So I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll make up a comic. And I started making comics related to our university, Grambling State University, and what the campus was going through, or, like, what events are coming.
Damn.
And I actually won 2 NABJ awards for those, National Association of Black Journalists. Met Stephen A. Smith from ESPN at that award. And then while I was doing that, my graphic design teacher, she was like, these are really good, but you need to learn Illustrator. So I tried Illustrator. It's like, this shit sucks. And then my friend, it was just, I didn't like the vibe of it. And my friend, he did flyers for our fraternity, and he always used Photoshop. So I was like, show me how to use this so I could just make my comics pop out more.
Yeah.
And he showed me, and it's not common, you're not supposed to, but it still worked for me. And that evolved into, it's like, oh, you know Photoshop, can you make this flyer for me?
Yeah.
I was like, I guess. And I made shitty flyers, but I was getting paid. So then that evolved into what you see now on the wall, the flyers you see. And
a lot of my flyers, if you guys have ever seen the other flip side wall, I'll have to put like an image of it, but a lot of the flyers for my shows and stuff, this guy did.
So yeah, that's how it connected though.
Like even like the font that you use when you do your flyers, like a lot of them are very animated, and like when you do the animation, so like the motion flyers, like the way that they come in and stuff, it does almost feel like a comic animation or something. That's just like the way that you flow and make everything work and stuff. Do you feel like it's played any influence within your music as well?
So I used to listen to music based off the album cover, and that's how. I mean, before that, I did just download a bunch of LimeWire songs to my iPod, and just did the top 40 greatest whatever to get the classic music. But once Spotify came out, and I was checking out new artists, it would be the album cover. So
Gotcha.
Tyler Creator's Yonkers, that shit popped out. It stuck out to me. Then I became a Tyler Creator fan. Or Chance the Rapper, Acid Rap.
See,
that cover, like I was like, this is fire. Download.
and this is why we're doing Space City Geek Fest, not to bring it all back to that, but to show that influence. Like, so many artists and stuff really are influenced by comics, and like it goes both ways. Like, comics get a lot of influence from artists and stuff as well. And like artists actually are making their own comics and stuff now. I think that you need to like revisit that. That would be super fucking dope, doing the comics and stuff. We might need to talk a little bit more about that. I just want to see it, bro. Like, I just want to see what happens.
I wouldn't mind. I had was it the year before last? Someone bought me a comic book like editor or something.
Yeah.
Because I told them that, and they're like, "Oh my god, you should get back into it." But I definitely wouldn't mind. And I think there's another artist who's making his own comic out here. Blues guitar, fucking, why is it slipping? Deuce Life. Black, kind of chunky, but crazy on blues guitar. He did my Jimi Hendrix tribute.
Yeah. And
he was starting one last year, so he should be further into that process. But yeah, I started doing the cutouts like when we met, and then I did all that. I did that because to be honest, when Instagram came out, I did not know how to take pictures. So I was just like...
making your own.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck it. Hopefully this gets likes. And then people started wanting to pay me for that too.
Yeah.
So bring it full circle. Do you have any upcoming events? Tell the audience if you have any upcoming events before the Space City Geek Fest, or they can
and not even just events. Like, do you have any other projects?
Right, and also do you have any merch for sale or any albums for sale or things that you want to get out there to the audience?
So I don't think I'm doing anything until the Space City Geek Fest next year. I do want to bring back Band, Booze, and Tattoos at El Pueblito every last Sunday of the month, where it's what you just heard, Band, Booze, and Tattoos. Basically, we'll have a live band from either genre, whatever genre specified that month, a tribute to whichever artist I choose. Last year we did Prince, Erykah Badu. We did Paramore. We were going to do Black Sabbath for Christmas, but it got cut off at Social Beer Garden. So this year it'll be similar vibes.
So be on the lookout for those announcements.
And then what's tomorrow? Tuesday.
Tuesday
I'm finally recording again. Somebody got on my ass for like just stifling my creativity. I do have 2 projects out with me.
You can't rush art.
Yeah. And that was 2017. That was the last project out, called Nothing New Under the Sun, where I reached back into like my roots, where I'm from, Ethiopian culture and Californian culture, and mix some of that together. But this project, I was inspired by George Clinton and he has like funkadelic comics. He used to put them in the album covers, and I got one of those from Exchange to Change, and it came with the strip. And I did some research, watched a few more documentaries on why he was, doing that, and I realized like some of his music, most of his music and songs, they're not really based off real topics. They're based off of a world that he created as well, like similar to me creating
Parliament Funkadelic,
my own world. So like the bop gun and your nose will go, if you fake the funk, your nose will go. It's like their own psychedelic theories on how music activates your soul, and it's like a lot. It's a lot of theories. So this next project is actually called Patience, and I'm going to be introducing my world and Captain Nobody and the adventures of his space pirates. Within that, so some of the songs are like related to like real life things,
but there's a story behind all of this.
It's a story, but it's like on made up things. It's
like you created your own thing.
Yeah,
I get you. Now that is definitely very comic related for sure. That's super dope. 2 more things before we entirely close out. 1, the band of merry men that you see right here, we just started doing something ourselves as a little group. We started playing some D&D, and we each have our own characters. My name is Jaredin. I'm a wizard. I'm trying to create a goblin army. We have Captain Nobody over here. What was your character?
I'm a tiefling rogue.
That's right.
I just like stealing shit.
Chris, what's your name?
My name is Serpent the Well Endowed, and I am half human and half celestial.
So if you guys want to see some of our antics, we've only started a couple of days so far, and it's been wild. I ain't gonna lie, I've been having so much fun with it. If you guys are interested in seeing some of those antics, we might record it, go live with it. Hey, who knows? Maybe we can even get a way for you guys to join in with us and help dictate kind of like what happens. Be a lot of fun. Join us on not just Patreon, but we have a Discord. Tap in with us there. Comment down below if you guys need that information, and yeah, we'll hit all that. But I would like to ask you 10 questions that you need to answer off the top of your head before we bring all of this to a close.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we do this for, you're not time, just try to answer as fast as you can. Don't think about it, okay? Chris, I'll just pass you my phone. We ask this for all of our interviewees pretty much at the end. But so first off, who is your favorite comic book publisher?
Image Comics.
All right, I fuck with that.
Number 2, who's your favorite hero? Who's your favorite hero and villain?
Nightcrawler and the Green Goblin for Marvel. Obviously Joker for DC, and Nightwing.
Okay. Which superpower would you like to have?
Teleportation.
With said power, would you be a hero or villain?
I can't choose anti-hero? Like
whatever you choose what you want.
I'd be like a bounty hunter.
Okay. Who is your favorite illustrator?
Jack Kirby. No, Jesus. The one that did the Dark Knight. And 300. What is his name? It always slips.
The 300 comic?
Yeah.
Oh man. Our fans are going to get onto us for this one.
He did like this.
Chris, you know it.
But I'm drawing a blank right now.
Miller. Something.
Frank Miller.
Frank Miller. There you go.
Frank Miller is your favorite illustrator. Who is your favorite writer?
Stan Lee.
Okay, what do you dislike about comic culture?
Ooh.
Throw some shade. It's okay.
Get
in there.
Okay, I dislike the idea that comics can't evolve with the society we're in.
The MCU.
The MCU. I mean, if it's the MCU, then let it become the MCU.
This is a whole other conversation we're about to get into. Part 2 of this, Captain Nobody versus the Well Endowed.
What is the one thing you want in your collection? Or the one thing you already own that you love in your collection?
The first Savage Dragon comic that I bought.
You have it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh shit! So he already has.
It's the only comic I have.
It's apparently the only one that matters. Yeah. All right. So if you weren't doing music and graphics and stuff, what other occupation would you pursue? What else would you like to do?
If I wasn't doing music and graphics, I would. Damn. Probably something in real estate.
Financial guy, I get you.
The Lex Luthor. He's real estate. And last but not least, if you had a chance to spend a week in a fictional world, where would it be?
Not fucking Gotham. Is it Krakoa? Am I saying that right?
What?
The planet? Krakoa? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Krakoa?
What are you talking about?
Krakoa? The
The island
planet?
for the mutants?
Oh, what's the planet called?
That's Planet M.
You talking about...
Oh,
No, that's
yeah.
the ship. The
They
meteor
have
ship.
a whole planet now. They have Mars. I guess Mars.
Well, they have a space on Mars. Do they have the whole Mars now? When did that happen?
It's like
Because I know that there's
portion.
there's area on the moon, then there's the meteor, the M whatever, and then there's Krakoa.
There's Mars. They're on Mars.
They're
They
on
did
Mars,
this whole thing.
That
with
must be
the
a new
aliens
thing.
there.
Yeah, I missed that one.
I haven't
Check
been
out
keeping up with
Axe,
comics.
AXE, Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals. That's what I'm on right now.
God damn, they're just throwing out the bullshit now.
It's pretty good.
Just throw them all in
The
there.
Eternals aren't fucking with the mutants, because they're mutated offspring, and
They're
it's
rebelling.
dope. It's dope.
Fuck you, Daddy. All right. Well, on that note, Captain Nobody Nobel, my boy, I really appreciate you coming on, talking a little about this. We'll have to have you come back on and have a Nobody versus Serpent the Well Endowed MCU debate. I don't know.
Add something real quick?
Yeah, that's something.
Submit to Comic Cave Podcast your favorite anime or superhero intro or movie intro, so I could put in the playlist for Space City Geek Fest.
There we go. Yeah. Come out to the festival, guys. He's going to be spinning on the ones and twos for us and playing some of the background music for some of the artists that we have on there.
Before we go,
And he made the flyer.
Nintendo or Sega?
Damn.
There's a right answer, and you know it.
All right, for the culture, Sega.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking
For
about.
the relevance, Nintendo.
That's
But for the culture, Sega. I grew up on Sega.
He's just
Sega.
proven my theory right.
He's trying to say
Sega's
that
not doing anything anymore, but that's why
They still make dope games. They just dropped Sonic Frontiers. And you want to play Sonic Frontiers?
Didn't Nintendo buy Sonic?
No.
Apparently, no, they just get to use his likeness or
license.
whatever.
They license him
okay.
to.
But he's just proven my theory right. That being said, my name is Chris, and I'm always along with my hello life mate, Mr.
Russ.
And our special guest, sir.
Captain Nobody.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to check out Space City Geek Fest coming out February 18th, 2023 at the Raven Tower Bar. We'll see you guys there. He'll be there on the ones and twos, flipping it. You know, I want to hear some Run DMC and stuff like that. Not just like some comic stuff. Some Run DMC.
Mix other stuff.
Yeah, and I want to hear some good stuff. Maybe some Parliament Funk together too.
Of course.
But come on down. Until next time, my name is Chris, and this is Comic Cave Podcast.